Hello, this is Taha.
This is Anaina,
This is Movie Masala.
and we're here to yap at you about films we watched recently.
And today we're doing F1, the movie.
When was the last time you won a race?
Sunday, Daytona?
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Formula One.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then same as you.
Sidebar bitte, Ruben. When I interview with you, many veteran drivers...
Yeah, who all turned you down?
How many?
7.
Okay, so I was excited for this primarily because it was directed by Joseph Kosinski, who was coming off of Top Gun Maverick, which I love, even though I really wish I did not, because it is solely a US military complex narrative. It is, fuck yeah, the military is so cool. And I'm like, yeah, kinda is, but I'm not gonna accept it.
I know a lot of people like that, for sure.
Yeah. So it's a great film. And I think there's a lot of specific things Top Gun Maverick did so well that I enjoyed so much. And this is why I was excited to watch F1 for the same reasons. I was going in being like, I know the sound design is going to be great. I know just the sound in general and the cinematography is what I was really, really hoping for. I was unfortunately not able to watch this on IMAX, which I would have really liked because, I think it would have deserved that.
Yeah.
So let me first start off the plot, right? It's basically Brad Pitt, who plays Sonny Hayes, who is this has-been race car driver who gets recruited by his friend Ruben, played by Javier Bardem, to take place in this F1 race because it's Ruben's final shot. I need someone to make this team work. Otherwise, I'll need to sell this team. I'm in a lot of debt. We need wins, and Sonny might be able to do it.
Fair.
And again, I don't know much about F1, so everything I've learned is from this film. And so as much as I know, F1 is much more of a team sport because you have two racers racing at once for the same team. And Brad Pitt's or Sonny's teammate is Joshua Pierce, played by Damson Idris. Firstly, both Brad Pitt and Damson Idris play off of each other really well. They really fit into the dynamic of this older, more mature, I don't give shits racer compared to this new hotshot who's thinking about social media, who's trying to build a brand and has also struggled really much to get to where he is, right?
Yeah.
So I think it builds off those dynamics and it establishes those characters really well. And I think the charisma of both of these actors is really what helps you feel so invested in the film as it goes on.
Sure.
And again, there's not really much to add to the plot because in most places it does play like a standard racing film, right? You have very similar genre conventions that keep coming up and it's nothing so specific and there's no real place where you are it really pulled off a twist or it really did something that I was not expecting. You can
Or
pretty
breaks
much
the boundaries of the genre.
Yeah, and anyway, you can pretty much telegraph where this is going, right? And I think that was again the same for Top Gun Maverick as well. There's nothing specifically in Top Gun Maverick that breaks the mold. It is just it reinvents that dad film 80s cool guy thing really well and really builds up those elements from the original. I know I keep comparing this to Top Gun, but I think there's very good reasons, right?
Yeah.
Firstly, because again, both the films are directed by Joseph Kosinski. Secondly, it has some similar producers like Jerry Bruckheimer. Aaron Kruger is a writer for both of these films, right? The cinematography is done by Claudio Miranda for both of these films, who's an amazing cinematographer, such a good cinematographer. Then both films involved Hans Zimmer with their composing, right? So there's just a lot of similarities between these two films, and both films have fast vehicles at the center of it and a whole so it's a very there's a reason this comparison makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
And it sounds like Joseph Kosinski is kind of building like all directors, building a brand.
Yeah, 100%. And where this film really does shine is those racing sequences, right? It has cinematography that really pulls you in. There were so many moments where I started being it's good, it's not great. And then I would find myself as soon as a moment hits being genuinely almost wanting to loudly clap as if this was my team and I'm genuinely watching a sports match and was just fully engrossed in the film, right? So
yeah.
It really builds up that energy. It really sells you on that energy. It's able to make you feel as your team is winning, which I think is such a crucial part of any sports film.
It basically gets you invested in the correct way and in the correct amount. Yeah.
100%. It's hard to not be invested in the races. I think that is absolutely the best part. The cinematography and the score absolutely 1000% really take you in, right? As well as like the direction.
For sure.
However, the reason I think this film is good, it's even like really good. It's not great. It did not satisfy that itch that Top Gun Maverick left. And I think there are a few reasons for that. One is this film feels sometimes too clean. It's a hard way to describe, but in Top Gun Maverick, there is some imperfection to it. And I don't mean this as a criticism of this movie is too perfect. That's a stupid criticism.
Yeah.
I mean it as a Top Gun Maverick has much more of a personality to it that I think this movie sometimes misses. This movie feels too clinical sometimes, where Top Gun Maverick feels like its certain shots have much more of a stylistic element to them.
I think a lot of what like action movies and sports movies have is this certain grittiness to it, or this certain tonal shift in like the style or mood shift in the kind of content or like the plot of what we're doing, which is what I'm understanding you're saying feels missing from this one.
It's not necessarily the mood shift, because I think all of those things exist. I think it's much more in how the film presents itself. And that comes through within the writing and the look of the film for me. So I think that is much more specific. Like Top Gun Maverick emulates the look of that 80s specific action genre. And I think like brings it into the present. It just like enhances things that it like builds on its strengths and like reduces the weakness. And it still has that look. It has that vibe. It has all of that. Well, F1, it doesn't feel something wholly its own. It feels very much like a clinical iteration on previous racing film.
Sure.
And this is not obviously the reason, but it is kind of like poetic that it's produced by Apple, a company famously known for that minimalist, clean aesthetic. And it just feels like that is such a part of this film for some reason.
I mean, it just goes to show Apple has been gunning for like a lot of shows or movies or whatever that are meant to be like dark or whatever, but they don't end up being that because there's such a like clean, glossy sheen to them that you just don't believe in.
Yeah, like, and Apple has made some really good stuff. Like Severance has been really good. Coda, they've the only streaming sites to have ever won an Oscar for Best Picture. So, you know, they're doing a lot of things right. But I just think this film, I don't know. I think this is what reduces this film. Again, like I said, it's very good, but it's just not great. It's just something that feels missing from it. There's a special sauce. And I think, again, when it comes to, aside from the look, the writing, it's just, I do see like Sunny Hayes as a character. I do see Joshua as his own character, Javier Bardem, all of these people. But the thing is, they don't feel unique in any way. They feel like, again, like a recycle like thing out of everything.
Sure.
They don't feel they have a backstory or like a background, something that is wholly unique to them. The film never really captures like why, aside from the racing, what makes these people like unique individuals in that sense.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. Again, I still want to add that one thing, again, this film does is casting is really good, right? And I think Joseph Kosinski, I would love to see who he next picks to like, you know, do this like your dad's action hero coming back film. Like, again, because the one thing, like, yes, Tom Cruise has charisma, and I think Brad Pitt might be a bad person outside, but has swagger. Brad Pitt doesn't have charisma. Brad Pitt has swagger.
No, for sure. He really, really does. He plays this certain kind of character, and I can picture it right now. It's like in Ocean's 11, all the Ocean's films and stuff like that. It's that kind of a personality he brings.
He can be an asshole, but you love for him to be your asshole.
Exactly, yeah. In film, not in real life. We don't talk about real life.
But yeah, he has this swagger to him. And I think Joshua also like works with that whole thing as well. I just think Brad Pitt really does shine, and he is like more of the main character in this film. But yeah, I would love to see, I was just genuinely, after the film ended, I was like, who is he going to do this next with after Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt?
Fair.
Ben Affleck,
yeah.
I feel, is a solid like next shot for this. But yeah, so that's basically much more of my thoughts with this film. It was good. I really wish it was better. I just do not see it getting the same attention that Top Gun Maverick did. But hey, like, I would love to be proven wrong.
Yeah, fair.
So yeah, those are our thoughts. Thank you for tuning in. This podcast is produced solely by us with musical assets from Pixabay. If you enjoyed this, please do share this. See you again next time.
Bye bye.